Welcome in, everyone. Today on AI Mastery, we have Jeremy Vest, the great and powerful, one of my favorite guys out there. I can't really say enough about him. He's helped me grow my YouTube channel, and even the ones that I don't really need to grow, he's been there to help me grow those too. So I'm pumped to have you on, sir.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
You want to tell everybody a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, so this is my 24th year of digital marketing. I've never done traditional marketing. I've only been in digital. So I'm one of the OGs of digital marketing. And for 17 of those 24 years, I focused on YouTube strategy, and I've worked with 20 plus of the top 100 brands in America. And my students have over 50 billion organic views on YouTube. So I've been doing this a long time.
Yeah, you're definitely one of the OGs. I mean, you've been in this longer than I have, and you're one of the first guys that I ever remember talking to and learning something super cool from. So I'm excited to have you here. So I guess let's just get into it. Mainly AI and YouTube. I know AI is taking over everything, and I know I use AI to help me with my channels. So what are your thoughts on AI, and let's just go from there.
Yeah, I think that we don't really know how good AI is going to get, but let's just take a step back and look at like where it was last year. It was an absolute joke compared to where it is now. And, AI is learning a little bit faster than humans can. So I really feel like in the next couple of years, I actually believe that a avatar of yourself will be able to be better on camera than you. Like actually.
Yeah,
I really believe in the next 5 years, pretty much movies will be made 100%, or a lot of movies will be made 100% with digital avatars.
That sounds unreal, but at the same time, I mean, just knowing what I can do today, yeah, I could see that happening. I mean, like realistically, you can get decent avatars of yours for like $1,000.
Right.
And like if you have movie budget, then there's no reason why that can't be possible at all. So
I mean, just imagine yourself kind of like Ready Player One. Imagine yourself like always having perfect teeth and perfect hair. And, it's still you, it's still your personality, but it's a digital version of you. I think a lot of people are sleeping because they're seeing what is today, and they're not realizing how fast things are changing and evolving. And I personally believe, so I've been, professionally on the internet basically since 1998. And in that time, those like 30-ish, let's just call it 30 years of internet and Google and, 15, 20 years of Amazon and Facebook, the whole world has absolutely changed. Like absolutely, it's changed so much. It's almost like I don't know, like when machines were created, back hundreds of years ago, the Industrial Revolution, I honestly believe that the internet has done that. We've basically changed everything. Taxi cabs used to, like, whoever believed in a million years that taxi cabs would go away.
I know.
Right now it's Uber. And who would have believed one of the largest, most valuable companies in the world in real estate doesn't own any Airbnb?
Yeah.
So I absolutely love that we are forcing ourselves to evolve and change. I personally believe that AI it's going to happen so fast that 5 years from now, it's going to make what we've done with the internet and digital worlds in the last 30 years. I think the next 5 years are going to be 10 times greater than the last 30.
I could see that, because I mean, it's like even within the last 6 months, the ability that some of these tools have come out with and done, it's like you basically took 12 hours of my work and made it into 30 seconds.
If I need to
And
talk to a lawyer now, I do GPT consulting for a minute, or if I need a doctor, I do consulting with GPT, and it gets me more knowledgeable, and it probably makes me like 100% more ready to have those conversations. I
yeah,
also can, for example, do a draft for the lawyer of something I need, like an LLC or something, and honestly, it's already doing like 80% of the work.
yeah,
Um, so almost every aspect of my life, I've wrote 2 books in the last 3 months, and a lot of the heavy lifting of that, like all the ideas were mine, but the heavy lifting was AI. And so every aspect of my life is really changing. From a YouTube and video perspective, there's no difference. I actually created an entire software suite for YouTube creators that's launching soon. And really, it's just an assistant right now, but it's pretty powerful. And I've been doing YouTube strategy for 17 years, and I will have to say some of my tools are actually already better than me.
yeah. I have access to some of your custom GPTs, and they have made me a lot better at what I do. Like even the thumbnail one, the
Yeah, the
thumbnail
thumbnail
one.
grader is crazy.
Oh man, that one, like, even if I'm just like researching videos, I'll grab other people's thumbnails and just pin just to see kind of if I can make it better before I even try to tackle a subject. Because thumbnails are, especially in long form, that's 90% of your battle.
I didn't
So
realize before, but 80 to 90% of what I do is a YouTube stream. So, for example, one of the strategies I always deploy for all my customers is I find the top 100 most viewed videos in the world for your niche, what you do. Let's say you're a plumber. I'm going to go find the 100 most viewed videos in the world for plumbing, for your specific plumbing. Let's say it's residential. And then, that before AI basically be a manual process. It would take me a day to catalog those 100 videos. Now I can do that with scraping and AI tools in minutes. Then creating titles and thumbnails and descriptions, all these custom APIs or AI tools that I've created use all my philosophies. And maybe it only gets 80% of the way there for some of the tools, but I'm saving at least 30 hours a week right now compared to what I used to do. And I'm actually I'm like been doubling and tripling my revenues per month too. It's
yeah,
not like I'm doing less work or doing cheesier work. It's just as high quality, if not better. I'm just able to be faster.
yeah, that gives you the ability to do more
Exactly.
and make more content. So yeah, because like me, I'm not a person that can sit down and write out a script. I'm more of a fly by the seat of your pants. I mean, like even for this interview, like I I used one of your tools to do podcast questions
That's
for
cool.
you.
That's actually a pretty cool tool, though. I use
So
that as well.
yeah, I love it. So like me, I put your name in there. I have my questions just in case I get stuck at some point. I could just be like, hey, okay, so let's go to this question.
Very cool.
So I more of way fly by the seat. So having something that I could be like script and it'll just generate me an awesome script. So that with the tools and technology, it's just becoming better and better.
And right now, I think that for the most part, creators are using these AI tools. Really, for the most part, they're using it for research, for scripts, for titles, for thumbnails. They're using it to understand their competitors better, to find gaps in their library of content compared to their competitors. And, it's really like analysis and getting, to that point to where you really understand why you're not the biggest in your world, in your niche, and, how to get there. And it's pretty cool. I think the near future is crazy. Like YouTube's about to release all kinds of stuff. They bought AI companies. For example, one of the tools they're about to release is, and a lot of people don't understand this, but people that speak English are only 20% of the world. I think a lot of us think differently. Like a lot of us
Yeah.
think we kind of rule the world, but yeah, we're a fifth of the world. So YouTube, honestly, yes, America, Canada, the UK are huge markets for YouTube, arguably the most profitable markets, but countries like India are far bigger, like so much bigger, so many more
Yeah.
people. So imagine every time you uploaded a video, a dub of your voice happens in every language, and YouTube's even kind of sync your lips to that new language voice, and they're able to make you sound like you're from Japan or Korea, and that's the tool that YouTube is launching first, really, in their AI suite. And so, what's really happening? A lot of people, a lot of creators are really scared that they're going to be replaced, but you just got 80% more probability of getting views on your videos when this tool launches.
Yeah. I was watching the video of them talking about that, and I was super pumped about it. And I'm a small dude, and you talk about guys like Mr. Beast that have like 20 channels, one free language. That just took out all his workload.
Yeah, and he's had this tool for
realistically.
over a year. So and I do think, by the way, if YouTube's listening, that's very unfair. You can't just give the biggest creator in the world an unfair advantage. That seems very unethical to me. But so what he was able to do
Yeah.
in this last year plus having this tool is he had these 20 channels and now he has one. And if you've seen his subscriber growth, he's over 300 million subscribers now. He will easily be the very first channel with 1 billion subscribers. And the reason for that is these 20 channels are now one. Imagine maintaining 20 cars or 20 houses. It is 10 times more effort to do 2 channels than one, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So I am a big believer to never have more than one YouTube channel. If you don't believe in what you're doing, recalibrate. But having multiple channels is really hard. Now, for faceless channels, I could see, you could go dominate a whole bunch of different niches because you're not doing as much work. But ultimately, I personally believe, when a year or two from now, when someone can click a button and make 1 million videos, what separates you from them? So I think you should really focus. And this is what Mr. Beast is doing. You can see all his other channels are kind of going by the wayside, and it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, because I know, like, even for me, there are ways to set up Canva and AI automations, so I can spit out 10-second faceless videos, 15 a day, and it takes me a minute or two for the entire month. So eventually you've got to have some kind of separation of why you should stand out against the others. So, like, this is going to be my primary channel in 2025.
It's awesome.
I want to grow myself on here. I will still have a couple. I'm going to focus on one faceless channel in this channel. So I'll build other faceless channels as demo channels, but it'll basically be for content for this channel.
A lot of people ask me how I feel about faceless channels, and I think the answer is a lot different than people would assume. I think what people assume my answer will be is they suck, right? Because they're not necessarily as personable. Nonverbal communication is more communicative than verbal communication. So, like, the way we move our hands and gesture, and the way your wife probably looks at you when she's angry. Just kidding. That's actually more communicative than voice. So when you don't have a person on screen, you don't see the whites of their eyes, you don't see their nonverbal communication, it definitely takes a lot of soul out of the videos. But I will say there are 5 or 6 YouTube channels I watch religiously, and the reason is storytelling. If you can hook people with emotions, if you can make a beautiful insight have storytelling like the hero's journey, which is basically every Disney movie ever, and suck people into your world, I don't care if you have a face or not. That really doesn't mean anything. In my opinion, I think people use the word face or faceless, really as like a trendy thing to say. At the end of the day, if you're making good videos, it does not matter if there's a face or a dog or a cat or not. Like none of that matters. All that matters
Yeah.
is good content. Now, my biggest fear for AI with video is I am not about quantity when I watch YouTube videos, I'm about quality. I love to watch like really crazy fishing channels, like people in Australia that camp on a 5-foot boat and catch a 10-foot shark, you know, just
Yeah.
adventurous, fun, like unexpected things, like a beautiful story would be told. And I fear that a lot of the SEO type people and the marketers and the info product type people are just going to be like, you know what, I can go get 1 million views next month. And that's great. But if your heart isn't to actually help someone, entertain them, music is probably the biggest thing on YouTube right now. If your heart isn't in actually helping the world, ultimately you're just going to end up becoming noise. So then how do you put personality and storytelling into a channel? That's what I think every person that does YouTube should be asking themselves every single day. Did the video I just create, is it better than a robot? Is it different than a robot? Does it have an emotion? Does it emotionally connect to someone?
So with my faceless, I've seen that the more emotional and controversial that I write it, my scripts, the better
Absolutely.
they do. So I've tended to kind of start writing all my scripts towards that style. And like, I'm not throwing up big numbers, but my last 3 shorts, one did like 1,700 views, 3,200 views, and like 4,800
Amazing.
views.
Yeah, it's amazing.
So for me,
No, it's for anyone.
with a guy with,
For anyone. That's
it makes me happy.
absolutely amazing. And
So
the question is sustainability of that, right? So as more and more people are getting more and more savvy with AI and faceless channels, you're going to have more competition. So one of the biggest reasons companies and creators fail is not really understanding their why. Like, why are they making videos? Who is their target audience? What is their mission? What's their message? What's their exact niche? What are the top 5, keywords or topics that people are going to search for within that category? And how do you stand out in a crowd? Like, a lot of my customers are very specific. Like, I helped create the largest plumbing YouTuber channel in the world and skateboard YouTube channel, and the list goes on for hundreds and hundreds of channels. But ultimately, Tony Hawk is not the biggest skateboard YouTube channel. The guys next door are. And you have to be relatable. You have to have, emotion and eye contact and feel like, hey, I can do this too. No one can do what Tony Hawk does, but people can do a kickflip or learn how to skateboard. And I think it's really, really, really important, and will be more important than any other time in our history, to be on camera and to have emotions and to, share your personality with the world. Having said that, I don't think it's outside of the possibility that a AI avatar could do that as well.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because that makes me wonder if I should add an AI avatar to my faceless channel.
Or my challenge to you is now I will say, love you, but you're not super animated.
No.
So you would
no,
either
I'm
have
not.
to get more animated, or maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe you can use other images and people to evoke emotions. You don't necessarily have to use yours. But my challenge to you would be to have someone on camera as well, and see and do the exact same version of videos you've done before, but one with and one without, and just see how well they do.
Okay. Yeah, because I know I've been trying. So my religious channel, I've been trying to get my brother-in-law on it. He's a little bit more animated. He's a youth pastor. It kind of falls
Cool.
right up his alley, and I keep harassing him every day about it. So hopefully one day I can get him convinced to do it.
Yeah,
So
I work with a lot of big, famous YouTube channels, famous celebrity type people, and it's their energy. I'm telling you, like it's their,
yeah,
they light up a room and they make you smile and make you question your life. And um, I think it's very important. The stories, the reason Mr. Beast is famous is not because of Mr. Beast. The reason is because he does challenges and gives stuff away and puts people in these situations to either receive like $1 million or $500,000 or to give, you know, 1,000 people hearing for the first time in their lives. And that emotions, everything they do is around making people happy or sad or crying or, grateful. And those emotions are what is important. The face or not is not necessarily the part, but it is a very important part.
okay, awesome. All right, so let's jump back towards AI. What AI tools are you using currently?
I'm using a lot. I use ChatGPT every day. I just find it easy. I use Zapier for complex, automations and things like that. Um, I use Adobe Firefly a lot. I use HeyGen.
Okay.
Midjourney is probably my favorite AI tool right now. It's just very good. But I will say Adobe Firefly they're coming in pretty strong. Like I'll have to say that I was making this drawing and every single AI program was doing a bad job with it. And Firefly actually has this reference image, so you can actually like build the blueprint and say do it just like this, and it'll follow your guidance. And until Midjourney and other tools have more granularity, I think it's just going to be a crapshoot and a lot of misses.
Yeah, Leonardo has an image guidance, but it is even with their scale on how much should you follow this image guidance, it's either exactly the same image that it spits out or so far jacked up that you're like, what did you even look at? Because we are not on the same page. So I haven't found, I'll have to try Firefly because I haven't found an image guidance that I like.
Yeah, it's a reference, not really necessarily guidance, but like placement, things like that. It's pretty amazing. I use a lot of other AI tools, and I've developed my own suite of YouTube strategy AI tools. But ultimately, I would say that 90% of the time for like personal life type things, I'm just finding myself talking to my ChatGPT app because I do a lot of exercising and driving my daughters back and forth to events and stuff. I find myself just talking to GPT.
Yeah, the whole voice feature. I love that because like I wear a headset everywhere I go, and I'll have conversations with it with my wife in the car, and she'll stop me and ask me who I'm talking to, and I'm like, I got to get this out, and I know if I put it in ChatGPT voice, when I make it back to my house, it'll all be typed out for me.
Yeah, I do that a lot. Like when I'm
And
traveling and stuff now, I'm having conversations with GPT and like building ideas. This morning, I accidentally woke up at 4 a.m., looked at my phone real quick, saw one of the best emails I've ever seen in my life, marketing emails. I copied it and I said, hey, my brand, Creator Unlock, take this email and make me a version of this landing page. And it did it perfect in 10 seconds. And it's easily the best email I've ever created.
Wow.
And it's no duplication. It's just like they used the formula basically that this email used.
All right. I'm taking notes because if not, when we get done with this, I'll have to rewatch this whole video. That's awesome.
Talking versus typing or writing or note taking is very important to me. I can't wait until we have more integrations with like to-do lists and things like that, because ultimately, life is about doing things, and we're
Yeah.
finding for people like us that do work online, we're finding that we're 50% more efficient now with most of the things we
Yeah.
do.
Yeah. There's like even me as little as like an email list. I have every so I instead of Zapier, I use Make, which is they're
Yeah.
basically the same. I have my email list processed through a Make automation before it even gets into my subscriber list program, just because I can gather information, I can send out emails, and then add them to. So, like here recently, me and another guy have been doing YouTube channel reviews, and when somebody signs up for that, it throws them into our email list, but it tells them what day we're going to go do their review on, what to expect. Here's a link to it. So it just makes it a whole lot nicer with no extra, one time to set it up.
Yeah, it's kind of
But
funny. There was actually a job where people would actually go schedule podcast guests. That was actually a job last year, And I'm sure it still
yeah.
is a job,
Oh,
but it
yeah.
won't be a job long. I mean, those types of things. Um, I was, there's so many inefficient processes. When you go to the doctor, you still are probably using paper. Like, who does that? Like,
Yeah.
why are we doing that?
Yeah.
My doctor actually now makes you check in online and pay online before you get to the office, or you can't have your appointment. And I love that, because
Yeah.
why do I want to sit in a waiting room 20 minutes? So inefficient. That's one thing. Like, I'm a really easygoing person, but you waste my time, I'm done. Like, like, time is everything. It's even more, valuable than money in a lot of ways. So I would take AI as a way to achieve the things you haven't been able to do yet in your life.
Yeah. It's a buy back
Yeah.
my time tool.
Yeah. I've been wanting to write these
And
books
it's a
for
cheap
3
paid
years,
tool.
and I basically got on my camera and I talked for an hour, and then took that and started crafting the transcript, and then from there started, actually building out the book. I use something called Dibbly, Dibbli, Dibbly Create, it's an AI book writing tool. But for the most part, I did all the content. And now I've paid a physical person, because it's one thing right now to, writing a book in AI, I think's great, but you really still need a human to go in and edit it,
Yeah.
and, check for things. And one problem I noticed with it is there's a lot of repetition. So I've hired someone, I think it was like $500, to go get my whole book ready for press, from editing to, layout, formatting. And yes, that might be a lot of money, but my time's worth so much more than that. And I probably saved half a year off my book,
Yeah.
probably 5 hours a week for half
Yeah.
a year.
Yeah. And if you could find those 5
Exactly.
hours to do it. Yeah. Because, like, for me, that would, if it's not top of mind, it's not getting done. So it would have to be a memo that popped up every day on my
Yeah.
phone. Hey, have you worked on your book today? Because if not, it's down at the bottom of the pile, and there's a big pile on top. So yeah, I was about to ask if you've heard read.io. It's another book
Cool.
creator program. So I'm gonna look at both of those. Not that I'm planning on writing a book, but you never know. You never know what leads to what.
Hey,
So
the one thing I keep on going back to, and I've been very adamant about this. I believe that specialists in general are going to outweigh generalists for any industry in the world. And I absolutely believe that from lawn care to lawyers to doctors to, marketing experts, I believe the people that are at most risk right now to lose their jobs to AI are generalists. And my question is, if there are thousands, millions of people in the world that do email marketing or, website design, what makes you stand out? And then, okay, now let's say you do web design, general web design. You're a web designer. Is your audience the entire world? Is your, because almost everyone, even like
Yeah.
non-business owners, need websites, right? So imagine if you just catered to dentists and orthodontists, and then you went to dentist and orthodontist only conferences. Then you wrote a book on how to market or get more leads to a local dentist or orthodontic, and
Yeah.
then you become the subject matter expert for marketing lead generation for dentists. You understand the players, you understand the speakers, you understand the audience, you become the perceived thought leader, and you can actually give value to these dentists. So I've really believed this my whole career. Back a long time ago, people used to take apprentices and they would teach them a skill for 5 or 10, 20 years, and you would master something. And going back to that concept isn't a bad idea, in my opinion. If I would not have focused, I've done in the last 24 years, I've been in SEO, I've been, in all the different forms of digital marketing, you know, web design, you name it. But if I was a generalist instead of a specialist my entire career, I would not have been in the 1% of income generators of marketing. I would have not
Yeah.
been in the top 50% of people money in marketing. And I find it very odd, especially this kind of newer generation coming up, that it's almost a bad word to say niche down. It's almost a bad word to say you need to focus on what you do. But unfortunately, I think the people that in life will be artists with AI are just general people that kind of know a little bit about everything.
Yeah. Yeah, because there's so much knowledge already built in, like even ChatGPT and what you can create
Marketing plan.
specialists in.
It'll do a better job
Yeah.
for a marketing plan than most generalists can already.
Yeah. Yeah. Like even for this podcast, I told it what I was looking to accomplish and give me a plan and all my platforms, all my email list, and it started spitting everything out for me. And I'm like, okay, well, you just saved me a week's worth of work in 15 minutes.
It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's a little scary, but it's like, I love it. It will make everything I do so much more easier. So do you use AI at all to like edit or like I signed up for Opus Pro. I've used it a couple times in the past, but like I'm going to use Opus Pro for this podcast to generate snippets and clips for shorts. Use any type of tools like that?
I use captions. It's not
Okay.
.ai or .io. I think it's captions.io. It's very similar. It does burnt-in captions, but also it's like it can take a long video and clip it up. I absolutely believe in them. I will say I also created a GPT to look for emotion before and after a clip. And I'm finding so what I do is I use a Chrome extension called glasp.co, I believe, or IO. And it takes an entire transcript of a YouTube video. It makes an entire transcript. From there, I copy and paste the timestamps and everything into GPT. And then I've built this custom GPT that really looks for emotional markers, hooks, triggers to find the right clips at the right time. I'm also able to be a little more, authentic with, okay, don't start and stop just random things, make sure they're important. And these programs are getting better. I would say right now, 80% of what they output is nonsensical, in my opinion. So you still have to go back and kind of see, all of these clips and what works and what doesn't. But I do believe in them. I think they will be good. Now they're not very good.
Yeah. Yeah, because I was looking, so I did the one for Austin's, and like the first one, like it clipped it on point, and the second one, I'm like, oh, okay, maybe I gotta definitely watch these because this was not even close to anything relevant.
Exactly. It's
Good.
random stuff, and then unfortunately, all of my
Yeah.
customers that are using this type of stuff just start posting this nonsensical things. It doesn't have like a beginning,
Yeah.
ending, and it's low quality in a lot of ways. I
Yeah.
have started using. I mean, I've used almost every AI editor from CapCut to Descript to Adobe Premiere has a lot of AI stuff. I'm a big believer that it'll get good one day. Right now, I am not a fan because it is garbage for the most part. Now, I do think the script is probably in a position to be the best in the world, and I do believe that they're going to get there very quickly. But I think it's silly that an editor in 2024 has to take pauses out themselves or do zooms or transitions ourselves. I love text editing. So in script, in Mirror, you basically can, you know, delete a word and it takes out the word from the video, which is very, very cool. So I am the biggest fan and believer of what's to come, but the current reality of the script and all of these tools are kind of
Yeah.
garbage.
Yeah. There was one tool that I don't even remember the name of it. I'm not even gonna pause that long. Okay. Yeah, we'll skip that because I don't remember the name of it, but it was basically adding the zooms and actions to the video too. So I think, like you were saying earlier, I think 6 months to a year, these things are going to be so much better that it'll be worth starting to use them heavily.
If
But I
you're a
mean,
full-time video
it,
editor, I would be very worried.
yeah, I spent $140 for Opus Pro for a year, and I could do 3,600 minutes of video clips.
Yeah, that's a couple hours for a low paid. And we're
Yeah,
even talking like, okay, so 5-10 years ago, a lot of people in America started using offshore, people from Fiverr and Upwork and things. But now it's almost like those people are getting offshored to AI,
yeah,
and the costs just keep on incrementally going down. So ultimately, I believe that virtual assistants and worrying about your calendar and editing and all these things that are just kind of humans doing tasks that don't have a lot of brain power. They're just kind of tasks. I believe they're going to be replaced.
yeah. I agree with you on that one. Are you using AI at all to work with your analytics for your videos, like to pull better data out or
I am. I'm
influence
kind
how
of
you're?
stuck because I'm an analytics nerd, and I have been working with, other companies like vidIQ, and I even did a little work with TubeBuddy, and even designed a lot of the vidIQ tools in the past. So I've been working in AI a lot, a lot longer than the average person.
Yeah,
So my problem is it's actually very difficult to export the correct data out of YouTube. And the export buttons and stuff, they're just not even close to enough. And then the third party like Chrome extensions and things that help you kind of get more data, it still isn't very good. So ultimately the answer is yes. I have GPTs and stuff that I upload the data and get output, but still struggle, still not very good. And I think it's just the lack of data. And I dare anyone to go find a good AI YouTube analytics tool yet. There's some people that have some data, but honestly, even the, companies I just mentioned are very good.
Yeah, I that's been my biggest frustration is like I can't find the data I need to actually like I mean, obviously if a video gets 1,000 watch hours and 100 subscribers, then yeah, that was a good video and I should probably do it. But if like I had one short, it got 2 views, just two, and shown in the feed 3 times, and I'm like, okay, what did I do wrong? We went from 1,000 views on every video to two, and then back to 1,000. So why did this one mess up? But there's no good rhyme or reason for most of the stuff in here.
Yeah, and I do have all those data points I can give you if you want. I've been doing this a long time. It's just hard to
Yeah,
get them from YouTube or AI. But ultimately, I encourage everyone to think of YouTube like this: click, watch, like, and that's it. So the data around getting people to click on your titles and thumbnails and previews, data about how long people watch your videos, that could be filming, editing, storytelling, and then the data around likes, comments, and shares. If we just focus on those 3 areas, click, watch, like, that's all YouTube is. That's it. Obviously you're going to always want to pull down when you do a video that does well. You're going to want to keep recreating versions of that video. But beyond that, it's just about how do I get more clicks, more watch time, more likes, comments, and shares than my competitors, and then rinse and repeat and just get 1% better every week. Ultimately, even though I'm a super data nerd, ultimately I keep it simple to my customers.
okay, awesome. So focusing on clicks is basically just titles and
And
thumbnails.
previews, which could be like the first 10, 15, 20, 60 seconds of a video. You essentially want the first 5 to 10 seconds of a video to be a hook and a visual hook to really tie people in, get them, it's called the curiosity gap, get them thinking and curious to see what happens next.
Okay, awesome. I know I'm working on editing these podcasts and I'm like trying to figure out if I want to do like a little 30-second snippet and then launch into it just to drive that hook. So that may
5 or
be
10 second would be better.
5 or 10 second.
Like some golden nuggets of knowledge.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So watch time for watch is pretty much the biggest thing we need to worry about once we get them into watching
Once
the video.
they've clicked on the video, how long they watch is very important. And I'll give you a scenario.
So are we talking? Okay,
I'll give you
go
a
ahead.
scenario. So I helped do the YouTube strategy for vidIQ. They just hit 2 million subscribers. They're great. They're in the top 2 or 3, 4 biggest YouTube tips channels in the world. And that is absolutely destroying. It's not even a competition. And this channel is called Colin and Samir. Colin and Samir do things a little bit different than Think Media Q and the other channels talking about YouTube tips. What they do is they basically do podcasts that are 45 minutes to 2 or 3 hours long, and their average view duration is 45 minutes. 99% of the competitors don't even have 45-minute long videos. So how in the heck is anyone going to compete with a channel that's getting 45 minutes average view duration, if that is pretty much the number one metric YouTube uses to discern if they're going to share your video with others? Over 70% of views on YouTube are suggested by YouTube, not necessarily your audience. So if you want YouTube to share your content, you have to be viewed longer than your competitors.
Okay. Yeah, because I was about to ask, okay, so is it more like a percentage of watch time? Like, so if my video's 10 minutes long and they watch 98%
less
of
important
it?
than the overall watch
Okay.
time. I mean, the way I think of it is my watch time's 5 minutes and the competitors might be 10. So how do I make a video? Now, average view duration and, watch time. Yes, they're a little bit different, but ultimately goal is more watch time. It's, if you have a 10-hour long video and people watch it for 5 minutes, you're probably going to have a problem. YouTube's probably not going to feel like that's a very
Yeah.
good video. So you don't want to make videos too much longer than your watch time.
Okay.
But the trick is to do better storytelling and better formulas and formats to get people interested to listen or watch longer.
Yeah. Okay. That makes
So
more
if I
sense.
wanted to go, I'm really into dome houses. I think they're super cool, right? So let's say I want to go make a new channel on dome houses. The first thing I would do is make the best dome house podcast in the world, video podcast. The best, manufacturers of dome houses, the people that are like the builders and shakers and movers, and basically interview like the rock stars of that space, make the best podcast I possibly could. And that's even before I go make like, why should you buy a dome home? The basic type SEO style videos. I would establish dome domination or dome home domination first.
Yeah.
And then second, I would go find the top 100 most viewed videos in the world for domes using my little AI program. And then I would recreate those 100 videos that are proven that YouTube and the audience like them because they have the most views in the world. And then after I imitate those 100 videos, then I'm going to innovate my next videos based on data.
Okay. That's because at that you're going to take over. There's no way you're not taking over the industry.
I mean, it's a mindset, but if you don't know who your audience is, if you don't know why people would watch your videos, what your mission is. So let's say it is to get 100,000 people to buy a dome house. That could be a big dent in the economy. That could be pretty amazing. And if that was my mission, then I could take all the little pieces of how do I get there? Does that mean I need to get 1 billion people to watch my videos to get 100,000 to buy a house? Probably, or more. And then, okay, how do I get 1 billion views? So it's all just little algorithms, and AI is helping people and brands, to really find ways to figure this out. My first book I wrote is called Nicheology, YouTube Nicheology, and that's actually going on Amazon in a week. And I have a $48 course associated with it. And what's cool about that is you get the book and you get my AI tool and my templates and examples and all kinds of cool stuff. And the whole purpose of this is to find your niche, your mission, your messaging. And I think it's pretty powerful.
Awesome. Yeah, I will have a link to all that in the description for anybody watching this. So I know I will be getting it because I follow everything you do. So the last step was click, watch, likes. So how are you accomplishing getting more comments and likes? I believe there's a third one too.
So click, watch, like. For getting people to like, comment, and share, goes back to storytelling, right? If you're not giving someone true value or true entertainment, then you've already lost. If you make a piece of content so good that it moves someone or it makes them laugh or cry, what's going to happen? People are going to thank you or disagree with you or, find a way to like, comment, or share on your video. The better the ideation of a video, the more unique a video is, the more different it is than others, the more likely you're going to get a comment. And I'll give you an example.
Okay.
Let's say I have a video on how to kickflip on a skateboard for beginners. Most people would make a video how to kickflip on a skateboard for beginners. What I would do is I would show myself teaching a 60-year-old man how to kickflip on a skateboard and him crying at the end of that video when he finally lands it a month later. That's what I would do. And we actually did that, I think, with the 58-year-old or 57-year-old on Braille's YouTube channel. And imagine if you just teach someone how to kickflip, you're going to get some comments and likes and shares. If you tell the story, a beautiful story of someone wanting to learn how to kickflip for 20 years and you finally make it happen, not only are you teaching people how to kickflip, but you're bringing them on an adventure and a story that's beautiful. Like, someone that could be a grandpa learns to kickflip, but that's cool. People are going to comment, like, and share. So there's a big difference in mindset and mentality of like the people that are really doing well on video and people that are not. And I think that's a good example of, the mindset difference of making a how-to video and making an adventure you go on with me and also learn.
Okay, awesome. This has been so much information. I've got notes over here that I'm going to be doing for days now. I do want to wrap up. I'm doing 7 questions at the end of each podcast. These are just 7 quick, simple questions, 30 seconds or less to answer. I think it'll be fun. Let's start with number 1. Who is the most famous person in your phone?
Grant Cardone.
That's a good one. I watch a lot of his stuff too. That's okay. What do you enjoy most about your business?
That I actually get to help people and change lives and see people going from broke to making 7 figures a year. It's freaking awesome.
Sweet. What is one book or podcast that you would recommend to listeners and why?
I would actually recommend Atomic Habits by James Clear. I think it's a great book. I think, a lot of people misunderstand life. A lot of people think life is about achieving things. It's really not. Life is about building habits, daily habits that allow you to live an awesome life. You got to eat that elephant one bite at a time. If you want to lose 100 pounds, you need to walk and exercise every single day for 3 years. If you want to build a business doing $1 million a year, you need to work on that business for 5 hours every single day for 10 years. It's about daily habits. It's not necessarily about the end goal, and I think we get that twisted.
Okay, awesome. I'll add that to my list because I know I need to work on my habits a whole lot. If you could have coffee with any one historical figure, who would you choose?
That's a good one. That's a hard one. Like living or dead, I guess.
Yeah, living or dead.
Tom Hanks. He's my favorite actor, and he does a lot of World War II type stuff, like Band of Brothers, and he's a good guy. He's a smart guy.
Yeah, I've thought about it a lot too. Just for me personally, like it would be like for my religious channel's sake, like Adam or Abraham.
Jesus would be cool.
Jesus would be cool too. There's like so many that you could pick at, like Jonah. Like that whole story of Jonah, I'm like, how'd you know what you were supposed to do, then get angry, and then went and did it anyways, and then you got angry because what you did was a success. Like, what went wrong in your life to be mad about being mad? So there's so many. Okay, we'll move on. I think you already answered this, but I'm going to ask it anyways. What's your biggest pet peeve?
When people waste my time.
Yeah, I figured that's what you're going to say because that's what you said earlier. That is, one of mine is being late. Like, if you said you're going to be somewhere at a certain time, you'd be there 5 minutes early. That's just something that was drilled into me growing up. If you had one meal for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Probably just salmon and rice.
Salmon and rice? Wow, okay. Like a sushi type setup or just straight salmon and rice?
No, I don't know. Maybe sushi?
Okay. Here's the hardest one I'm going to ask you. If you could start a rumor about yourself, what would it be? Like
a good or bad rumor?
It don't matter. Either one.
I got nothing, man. That's a hard one.
Yeah, that is a hard one. I haven't even figured out one. I mean, like, the only one I would come up with for myself was that I'm part of the cool kids club. So, but yeah, well, I think that's everything. It was great having you on. Oh, look, see, I should have been doing this at some point. If you want to grab Jeremy's information, links to his books, I'll have them all posted in the description, or you can go to this URL and we'll have everything posted there for you too. You have any final thoughts?
Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
We'll see everyone in the next episode. Thank y'all.